Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. I was poking around WikiLeaks, just testing out some keywords, and I was looking up the word Antichrist. And yes, it does come up a few times, but nothing significant, nothing worth noting. But in one of the emails, I noticed the name Rick Warren. Now, I'm familiar with Rick Warren locally because obviously he runs Saddleback Church. I'm in Orange County, California. This is where Rick Warren and Saddleback Church exists. I've been to the campus. I've met a lot of people who have been part of the ministry, part of the congregation, everything else. It's a huge church. And the Podesta emails mentions Rick Warren several times during the 2007-2008 campaign period, and it's nothing too crazy, okay? It's nothing that says, oh my gosh, Rick Warren is colluding with the global elite. Well, there's no hard evidence other than to say that, you know, stuff that people already know if they were paying attention back then, which is that Hillary Clinton came and spoke at Saddleback Church and pushed her liberal ideologies to the congregation and probably made some money from the Saddleback congregation. And on top of that, Rick Warren was pretty involved in the 2008 election cycle. He hosted an event between John McCain and Barack Obama. And interestingly enough, one of the emails shows here that despite this whole thing with Rick Warren being involved in this political campaign in 2008, it says, quote, Warren has both candidates' support for his peace plan, which aims to have churches around the world focus on 5 issues: spiritual emptiness, corrupt leadership, poverty, disease, and illiteracy. Members of his coalition, including Christian, Jewish, and Muslim leaders, will meet as part of the forum that includes the candidates. So, you know, we've seen the one world religion global agenda being pushed by Rick Warren for a long time. Now, this video, again, isn't really about judging Rick Warren, okay? He's got to deal with his own decisions in front of God. That being said, there have been plenty of criticism towards Rick Warren and some of the things that he has peddled in public that directly contradict scripture. And his position on Bible prophecy specifically is something that needs to be revised, because I think he has put the blinders on a good number of people because of his position on eschatology, and it is a gross twisting of scripture when he does so, and maybe I'll attack it another time. But in another email here, it quotes an article that summarized Hillary Clinton's appearance at Saddleback Church, and again, nothing out of the ordinary. Hillary Clinton talking about her biblical references and reflections to her own faith. And, you know, one thing that is interesting is that one of the things that she wanted to do was solve the malaria issue within 8 years, I think is what she said. And this email was back in 2008. So it's 2016, and I don't think she has solved the malaria issue yet. She's probably accepted millions of dollars to her foundation to fight malaria in Africa. The Chronicle notes that in Clinton's unusually personal, often emotional speech, she said that action goes hand in hand with faith. She won applause when she proposed $50 billion for AIDS treatment and prevention and vowed to set a goal of ending all deaths from malaria in Africa, where 1 million people die annually from the disease. And here, quote, the centerpiece of a speech laced with biblical references in reflections on her own faith was a call to spend billions of dollars to combat HIV/AIDS and other infectious diseases at home and abroad. She said she would try to stamp out malaria deaths in Africa within 8 years. Again, this is back in 2008, preying on the evangelical right community, right? The people she called deplorables in this election cycle, she is using and deceiving into supporting her globalist campaign. And for Rick Warren to allow that to be in his pulpit, that's all I need to know before I decide to attend a church or not attend a church, or support someone or not support someone biblically. But there's more. In this email, a summary of Shift, it says here, quote, in the presidential race, there was much media anticipation of the Saddleback Church Forum tomorrow with both Senators John McCain and Barack Obama. In addition to charging non-church members $500 to $2,000 to come see the event, Rick Warren is using the event to gain significant publicity, making appearances on virtually every network. So Rick Warren accepting $500 to $2,000 for non-church members. So if you're not a member of Saddleback Church and you wanted to attend this event, you had to pay somewhere between $500 and $2,000 to come. And there's no indication where that money went in these emails. At least I haven't found it yet. But that's a lot of money to accept for a pastor, right? There's supposed to be this separation of church and state, and clearly I don't know how he's getting around the 501c3 by bringing political attention and sort of topics to the table as he did back in 2008. And I think it was because he's in bed with the globalist regime, and that's why he was allowed to be the open gateway to the evangelical right community to push this globalist agenda. And then in another email here from jpainter@hillaryclinton.com to communications@hillaryclinton.com, there's a section here. Also, the evangelical vote in the 2008 presidential race grabs, Hillary Clinton believes the Republicans no longer have a lock on it. As we told you, she addressed California's Saddlebrook megachurch yesterday. We'll ask Pastor Rick Warren of Saddlebrook if it's really possible that the evangelical right, President Bush's key voting bloc, could be moving to the left. And obviously this is Saddleback, not Saddlebrook, but nevertheless, there is this agenda to ask Pastor Rick Warren to push the leftist agenda, to have evangelicals moving to the left. Is it possible? You know, this sort of verbiage is found in these emails as well. So there you go, some emails from WikiLeaks, the Podesta emails that mentions Rick Warren and the agenda of the Hillary Clinton campaign all the way back in 2007, using Rick Warren to appeal to the evangelicals, right? The Republican right wing. And it's really interesting because, again, I know a lot of people and have met people who have either attended or do attend Saddleback Church, and they're really great people, and there's good Christians that go there. But in terms of its ministry and the business model, it's the exact same thing as what the globalists are doing with consolidation. And if you actually look at Rick Warren and his track record, you know, he's all about making the church bigger, making satellite churches. In fact, the church I was at, I watched the church where I was saved at go more and more in this corporate institutional church direction because they used the Rick Warren format to build their church. And things changed really quickly, and a lot of good people were either let go unjustly, I think. There was just a lot of chaos, and I saw a lot of terrible things happen to implement this sort of satellite campus, lukewarm Christianity into the churches, this sort of business-minded hipster culture, whatever you want to call it. So all the way back 8 years ago, you see the seeds of this being planted by the Hillary Clinton campaign. And again, this information isn't like earth-shattering. It doesn't, I don't think, sway or convince anybody of anything different than what they already know or believe about, you know, the campaign or about the elections or everything that's happening this year. But it goes to show we cannot put our trust in men. Look, Rick Warren may have started out with great intentions to be a great pastor. He boasts the number of people he's baptized, which is several, tens of thousands of people. That's wonderful. And, I'm sure some of them are actually saved, but I don't know that God cares about numbers, because ultimately it is Jesus saving people, not Rick Warren. So, we got to keep that in mind. Not trying to poop all over Rick Warren's ministry here. All I'm saying is that there are problems theologically and eschatologically, especially, that has really skewed the perspective of evangelicals, especially around here, especially with the folks across the nation and the world who take this sort of purpose-driven church model to create these institutional web of churches around the world. It's basically the one world religious system, especially when they start integrating New Agers, Muslims, Hindus, and all kinds of stuff. It's the same game. It's the same agenda. So I hope you guys get something out of this. Share this with your friends and family, because it goes to show that even your favorite pastors might be in bed with political figures. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.